G'day. We can't always believe the stories we tell ourselves. We all tell ourselves stories, usually as a way of justifying or explaining or excusing why we're in this current situation. But the problem with these stories is that they're never really the whole story, are they? They're always some sort of half-tainted version of the truth or the reality. And the problem with that is that as soon as the circumstances or the conditions change, it turns out that that narrative doesn't really fit. It no longer applies. And so we found ourselves believing in this story for so long, and the conditions changed. Turns out our story wasn't really the whole story. That creates problems for us. As an example, 6 months into COVID, I decided, bugger this, I'm just going to get fit and healthy. And so I started sleeping better, eating better, walking better, or exercising and moving better. And as a result of that, I'm arguably in the best shape of my life today. But here's the thing. I told myself the story that I couldn't do that before. The narrative I have that I tell myself is that in my old life, where I was traveling every other week, staying in hotels, I wasn't able to sleep better, eat better, move better. That's the story I told myself. And it's pretty true. But what happens in another 6 or 12 months when I go back to my old life? When I go back to traveling every other week, go back to staying in hotels? Does that mean that I'm just going to revert to where I was before? Because see, the real story should be that I just didn't have the motivation before for whatever reason. Yes, there were external conditions like I was traveling, I was staying in hotels. That made it more difficult to live a healthy life, but not impossible. Plenty of people have done it. And so by me telling myself the story that now that I'm not traveling every other week, now that I'm not staying in hotels, I can sleep better, eat better, move better, that's not the whole story. That's a dangerous narrative, because when I go back to that old life, potentially all my old bad habits come back. So what I've got to do is tell myself the story that yes, that was part of the reason, but it's not the whole reason. The other reason is I just didn't find the motivation. For whatever reason, it doesn't really matter. It's just that if I believe in the narrative that now that I'm not traveling and staying in hotels all the time, I can lead a healthy life, then as soon as I revert to that, I'm buggered again. I go back to the way I was before. So just be careful that you don't believe implicitly and without any question the stories that you tell yourself. It's important that you question the stories that we tell ourselves. Alrighty, that is it for today. I do thank you for your time, and I will be back again tomorrow. See ya.